Our church's wider mission, plain talk. Over the years, people have tried to explain our church's wider mission in lots of ways. It's money that supports the wider church. It's a mission fund. It's support for the conference and national church. Most of the time, our explanations are about as meaningful as an IRS audit. Even the acronym OCWM has become institution speak. Who wants to give money to a set of initials? Or worse, to a building in Cleveland? But here's what we know. This is Bob. When Bob gives money to his church, he does so believing that something or someone will be changed, or at least helped by his act of generosity. Bob feels good about that. Bob knows that churches have a lot of bills to pay. His pastor earns a salary. Utilities cost money. And the broken toilet handle needs to be fixed. It's always something. But Bob also gives money to his church because he believes that someone will be helped by that. A hungry person will be fed. A homeless person will be housed. An injustice will be righted. He wants to help people around him, but he also wants to help people around the world. That's where our church's wider mission comes in. This is Wilma. Everyone considers Wilma to be a kind, thoughtful, and well-intentioned person, but Wilma, by herself, can't do everything. That's one of the reasons why Wilma goes to a UCC church, because she wants to join with others to pray and sing and make the world a better place. This is Wilma's UCC church. It does a lot of good things. They have great worship services, a bell choir, a youth ministry, a food pantry, and interesting study groups. Every Sunday, Wilma gives $30 to her church. Most of that money supports all the good stuff her church does. But her congregation has also decided to send $3 or 10% of Wilma's weekly offering to our church's wider mission. That way, Wilma's children can have a conference camp to go to, or a national youth event to attend. Wilma will start each day by reading a UCC devotional that lands in her email inbox, and her study group will have good materials to use. When Wilma hears that the UCC is starting hundreds of new churches across the country, she knows she's a part of that. When Wilma's pastor retires, her UCC conference minister will assist them in finding a new pastor. That's our church's wider mission at work, too. This is Carlos. He lives in Chicago. He's a big White Sox fan. But Carlos also cares about people who don't live in Chicago. When Carlos heard about a terrible cyclone that devastated Myanmar, for example, he wanted to help. But Carlos didn't even know where Myanmar was. But because of UCC Church's contributions to our church's wider mission, the UCC has long-standing relationships in Myanmar. So when Carlos gave a special offering to his church, 100% of that gift went directly to help the cyclone victims. Bob and Wilma and Carlos are members of local churches, but they're also members of God's big church. Individually, they can't do everything, and neither can their local churches, but they can join with others across the UCC so that they can multiply the impact of their ministries. In the United Church of Christ, each church makes a prayerful financial commitment to our church's wider mission and helps educate its members about the covenant that UCC churches have to be in mission and ministry together, in conferences and as the United Church of Christ. Changing lives. That's our church's wider mission, and we accomplish that a million different ways. A pastor visiting a shut-in, a work group on a mission trip, a child learning Bible stories. But we also change lives in ways and places we can't see or touch, or easily or neatly explain. We advocate for justice. We build and sustain relationships around the world. We respond to disasters every 2.5 days. So remember, it's not a fund, it's not a program, it's certainly not a building. It's changing lives together. That's our church's wider mission.
Early in my ministry, I was visiting a church, and the head of the mission committee said to me, "We really believe in mission in this church, and we don't give to bureaucracy, so we don't support our church's wider mission, because after all, that's just all the money goes for is bureaucracy." And obviously, I've thought about that question, and my response to her was this: that OCWM, our church's wider mission, is really the sinews and the blood of mission. It's what makes mission possible. Without it, there is no mission. In the Southeast Conference over the years, our OCWM dollars, as they have increased, have allowed us to double our money by placing them forward as a sign of the commitment of our congregations to the ministries of the United Church of Christ in and beyond the Southeast Conference. I often say to mission committees that OCWM, our church's wider mission, is a visible sign of the covenant we claim together. It's a way in which we say, these are not just the ministries that take place in the conference, in the national setting in Cleveland, or around the world. These ministries, these missions belong to all of us, and we are partners in making them happen.